Some girls like diamonds, and some like boulders. I am now the proud owner of this boulder. I asked the actual owner if he wanted it, or if I could get my crane guy one time to pick it up and drop it into my garden. And he said, go ahead and take it. Once again, this room has been emptied out. There is a surprise project going on in front of me, but that's something that we'll talk about later. Don't worry, you'll be caught up when the time is right. As you can see, I started to cut this and it went along really well until I started having trouble with the blades. But it's fine. Inside cut is clean, it's fine. It's gonna need some tweaking, but I have to stop now because I have to go to Kea for a few hours to mill acorn flour. I have several international orders and they've been waiting, and I told them milling day was this week, so milling day has to be this week. I am going straight from the building site in my filthy clothing and shoes to the milling room to get even more dusty. And then I'll be back in the morning. I'm also trying to get on and off Kea quickly before the new storms come, which are due tomorrow. So I'm gonna try to get off as early as possible. I told you I was coming to mill straight from the building site. In the morning, when I got back with the ferry, I went directly to the hardware store and got the correct blade. The day before, I'd been mucking about with all kinds of different blades that weren't working properly, and now I had one that was just going through it very smoothly. This wood is African teak, iroko, they call it in Greek. It's extremely dense, it's extremely heavy. This large piece, which was 250 by 1 before I cut it, took 4 men to move at any given time. It must have been about 250 kilos. Now it must be about 220. It's shed about 30 centimeters off of one end. The reason I'm doing this is because I want this to be a seating area with 3 stools around the curve, and it is not going to be cut on the other end. Good morning from a dark and rainy house renovation. I've got my hair all tied up because I did a good job of washing and conditioning it yesterday, and I have to sand all day long. This table behind me, so it's going to be dirty. I'm making good progress. Pretty ugly varnish that was on there, but it did a good job of preserving such a beautiful surface. It's so dark outside, and I've got this artificial light on, so it's a little bit difficult to see, but I am progressing. It's taken hours. Unbelievable. And I'm using 80 sandpaper, which normally I would think would rip it, but it's so dense that even with 80 sandpaper, it's super smooth. I'm going to finish it off with 180 and possibly 400. I completely sanded this down. It took about 5 hours, and I've given it 2 coats of beeswax oil. It will lighten up as it absorbs the oil. It's absolutely gorgeous. Really amazing piece of wood. The scale is really good with the marble. Very heavy scale in my house generally. It is beginning to look like a kitchen. Still got a ways to go, but it is beginning. If you have any suggestions for stools that will be at the end of this counter, bar, eating area, please feel free to send them. I'd be happy to cater many ideas. I've looked at so many stools, I've kind of lost it. While I was in Kea, I took some photographs of some tiling that I've done in the past just to remind myself that I do know how to tile, because I will be doing all the tiling in this house. So much dust is coming out. What a mess. I don't know if I did the right thing, but I put this gel-like marble sealer before I started today, just to give this an extra coat of protection. Oh my God. I've only done this corner, and just look how much dust is here. Hey, it's Sunday, the day before Clean Monday, and today I need to completely sand out the rest of this room, all of it, and then completely dust and clean it, and then seal it off before going on to do the other rooms. But have one room that's actually livable, because I have to move in here tomorrow morning. So today I need to accomplish a lot. See you on the other side. I've been at it for about 4 hours, actually more than 4 hours, and I only have this tiny patch here to do. It looks just magnificent. It's almost as if it's been painted. All the stains are gone. It looks just magnificent. So I can't even take my mask off to speak at the video because it is so dusty in here. It's Sunday and I don't want to make any disturbance because I don't have the right to. So I'm working at low revs anyway, which is more quiet. Not for that reason, it's just really nice on the wall to do low revs. And I just hope that nobody freaks out with the compressor that I'm going to have to use later when I blow out all the beams. Anyway, I've been really reluctant to have the camera in here with me because it's just insanely dusty. And that's why I haven't filmed much of it. But maybe I can show you just the last spot so you see what I've been doing. So the plaster walls need sanding in any case. Fresh plaster always has to be sanded before the first time it's painted. And then it had all these additional stains from the time I did the roof, the ceiling when I painted it, plus plenty of metal paint stains on the walls. So there is a thin white layer of dust on absolutely everything. And I knew if it would take 4 or 5 hours to sand, it'll probably take about 4 or 5 hours now to get it actually dust-free in here. Please. So I did manage to get the house dusted and presentable enough to host Clean Monday lunch. And then the very next day, it started all over again, and it looked like it had never happened. I have a little fort, which wasn't intentional. I'm just bringing things from the other room so that I can sand it. Oh, look who popped up. For her, it's the best thing I've done. It's this little fort protector from all the mess going on. Dicky-doo? Yeah. Definitely the most whimsical stand I've ever made. This was one of the most enjoyable food expos I've ever had because it got me away from dust and cement and workers and all of it. I just have reached the point where I can't really handle much more of this dust. It's also interfering with my health, so I was just so happy to be at Food Expo this year, and I think that's probably one of the reasons that it went really, really well. So, as a result, I am busy. And while I was working at Food Expo, the final floor was laid. It took nearly a month to do the entire house with slate floors. A little bit longer than I expected. And not long after this, the final windows in the front room were replaced. These are the only windows in the house left with single pane glass, and when I would wake up in the morning, it would be absolutely soaking wet in here. So I realized late that I couldn't get away with keeping the old ones and that I would have to replace them. I chose a design slightly different than what was there, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Next week I have a whole bunch of furniture, big furniture, coming into the house. So I need to clear the way for it to be able to get in here with the least amount of hassle. That's what I'm doing today. There are many, many things left to do. A lot of them are things I'm going to do on my own. The sanding and the painting of the walls, I'll probably have help from a professional painter who's also a friend. And the loft wood, I need to deal with that. I need to cut it. I need to screw it down. I need to figure out what kind of sealant I'm going to put on it. Back garden, I'm not even thinking about until next fall. It's a dumping ground, once again. Tiling, not a small job. There are 40 square meters of tile to be laid. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm doing that. I have a tower of tile. I'll show you in a second. I can walk over there. There we go. There's the tower of tile. So this is a small, nice bone white glass tile, silicone mats, designed for swimming pools. Yeah, let's see what else. I need to deal with the drainage system around the house, around the outside, because it's draining into a place that could weaken the foundation of the house if I don't take care of that before next winter. The stairs need to be raised inside, but those are all everybody else's jobs, so that's just a matter of bugging them. There's some pieces of marble missing, but overall, I mean, the house is now a house. I'm going to have hot water next Friday. Just, you know, I'm not a praying person, but maybe we could all say a little prayer for that. That's the idea, that I have hot water in the house. And so then it's all downhill from here. Okay, we're trying something different now with a leash. She gets so anxious in her box and does this whole diarrhea, vomiting, drooling thing. So I bought her a harness and a leash, and I want to see how it works. So far, she seems a lot better. Kids. The full moon surprised me. I hadn't even realized it was that day. I've come back to Kea so quickly to bake and fill orders, and I enjoy it when it's this quiet. The summer season will soon be upon us, and the island will definitely be a little bit more crowded. So in my next video, I think it's time to show you the surprise project that I've been working on. And I think it will be a genuine surprise, because it kind of even surprised myself. Until then, have a great week.
What do you think?
And thanks so much for being here.
Not bad, huh? It's wonderful.